Haddon Hall is 900 years old.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Unreal Estates Luxury Network. Today we're looking at a 900-year-old castle. I repeat, 900 years old. They've taken the time to renovate some of the areas, but most of it is still frozen in time. It's absolutely beautiful. Strap in. I'm doing 2 of these videos a day. So if you like what I'm doing, hit me with a subscribe and look out for my next episodes.
And it's nestled into the landscape. You can almost hardly see Haddon. It's burrowed into the trees and hugs the hill. It feels like a living organism. It feels like it's got a sort of energy and beating heart. Haddon.
Look at this. Look at this wallpaper. It's crazy. Look at the snakes and got this freaky dude. It's got to be some spooky stuff in a 900. Is that place haunted? 900 years old? People must have died in this castle. Probably slain with swords.
Is my home. We are its guardians, and it's where my heart is. It reflects onto you. The more I give Haddon, the more it gives me.
I believe that's a harp.
I am Lady Edward Mannis, and I live with my husband in his family's ancestral home in the heart of the Peak District, with our 2 beautiful children and our 2 beloved dogs. Come on, Boris, Boris.
Gotta have a kid to inherit this thing, though. I mean, they did 900 years of inheritance on a 900-year-old castle. I mean, if there's any reason to have kids, just to keep this place alive.
This house wasn't used as a family house. We lived in a different house further up the hill.
It doesn't really scream family house to me either. What do you guys think? When you look at this, do you think like, oh, charming place for the family to live? Not so much.
My first sights of Haddon was when actually we walked across the hills and then came down from the River Wye and approached the house from the gardens. At that point, the house was completely asleep. I definitely think
I think the government should pay you to maintain this place. Look at this thing. This thing is creepy as hell. Is this what you'd call a gargoyle? Usually they're more goblin-like. This one's more like just simply freaky. It's got moss growing on its head like hair.
I first arrived, I was a bit intimidated by the reality of what would be involved, largely because it was so not used. It was a big family home until Queen Anne's reign. So the house was full of life, 300 people were living in it. It was a place of entertainment. And then what happened after that was they left it for at least 200 years.
Wow.
Until the 9th Duke of Rutland, my husband's grandfather, decided to revise or bring the house back to life. And then the family used it for shooting weekends, etc. And it wasn't for...
These old chests, all the old art, a lot of the things were kept, and that's amazing.
...formally lived in by anyone as a family until we entered, which was almost 100 years later.
Check this out. Is that carved into the wall? What a labor of love. I mean, look at this. You can't buy this. You know? Like, you can't buy people's talent, the old world talent that they had. It's incredible.
When I came in, there were these enormous, magnificent, beautiful...
Look at that. It's the Stations of the Cross. You know, Jesus here, Jesus walking, Jesus being put on the cross. Oh my goodness. Just incredible.
...frozen in time rooms, which were in great shape.
I don't think this pool table is 900 years old. But this is a great pool table. Look at the size of it. Look at all this stuff. I like, you know, like they paint the walls, but they keep some of the stone. They got some nice drapes and everything.
I was wearing my ski clothes because it was so cold. And went into things like chest of drawers. Some of them hadn't been open for 100 years. You didn't know what you were going to find. So you'd open a drawer, and then there'd be maybe old photos, but wonderful old photos. And you open another drawer, and then you find like a skull.
Ugh. Ugh. It is haunted. We got skulls and drawers. People were sick back in the day. For as much like horror that happened back in the day, there's so much beauty that you also had, especially with like the architecture and the art.
So you shut that door really quickly. Shut the drawer.
I think people might have felt things more differently, like deeply back in the day. They didn't have distraction. So like if you were angry, you just killed the guy. If you wanted to make a piece of art, you put your whole heart into it, you know? Like everything was more surreal.
You're constricted by the elements of the past. You can't change walls, you can't change space. So you have to work out how you're going to fit with the structure.
This modernization is okay. It's nice. It's done well. It doesn't look like it destroyed any part of the castle so far.
The past, and they lived a very different life to us. So you kind of fit in. You just want to build a happy home. When you arrive at a house like this, it has this very special ancient essence that sits in it. And I think it's really dangerous to
Painting of the castle.
override that. I didn't want to superimpose us into the house so much that it lost its soul. I made sure that I tried to keep as many of the original pieces of furniture in the rooms that were there before. The ping pong room was the most important room in my mind to
Nice, it kept the wood exposed to these large planks. Notice how they didn't do things perfect back in the day. It was more like, but this needs to get done. That's why this comes down here. This is up here. Kind of actually looks like that it's at an angle.
create or bring life to. And it was also, I would say, the only room that had a kind of uncomfortable feeling to it. It was very bleak.
This was the slaughter room before they'd come in here and cut off your head. Now it's nice and pretty.
It's very dark. I opened up the fireplace, put in the log burner, started warming up the room. The dog in the frame is a picture that I found covered in soot and ash. A restorer just took off this first layer of it, and out came this beautiful lurcher.
Looks like a poker. Looks like a deck of cards here.
The two beautiful leather chairs were originally bought for Edward's parents, the 10th Duke and Duchess of Rutland, for their London house, and they were put into the London house by David Hicks. A very dear friend of ours, Billy Amberg, reupholstered them, and they're still in use. And they're very comfortable, and they look fabulous.
Very nice. Look at this bathtub. Holy long bathtub. This might be the longest bathtub. That's not a toilet. Tell me that's not a toilet. Oh my goodness. I hope not. But look at this bathtub. It's so long. You could be like 10'8" and fit in this bathtub. They went all white. I guess you kind of need this in this place. You're going to need a place that doesn't feel like you're in a medieval castle. You want to feel somewhere where you're like in the modern world within the home.
Some of the rooms in the house that we just not had to touch at all are the bathrooms. I mean, the Ninth Duke did the most incredible jobs with the bathrooms. He put in these magnificent enameled roll-top baths.
Yeah.
We've left them completely as they were. We just gave them a bit of a lick of a paint. And the loos are the magnificent, crank up the loo. Some of the guests don't know what to do on the loo with the crank, but they work.
Crazy.
Really important to understand that
there's not running like water for your loo. It's probably just a big old tube that just like shoots. It's a chute. Shoots down to like some ground level or some big old hole they dug under the castle.
And that it's open to the public, but actually it's a home. We had to put sofas into the banqueting hall because when the public go, we often go and sit on the beautiful Indian Madhavi sofas with the blue design just to pick out the colour of the tapestry that sits behind the dice table, which was given to the family by Henry VIII. The Minstrel's Gallery, whenever we have a party, that's where you put the DJ. Part of the fun of Haddon is getting into all the little rooms and making them all have a function. So we needed a bar. And so it was decided that the bar would go in the original buttery. The bar is painted red.
It's a simple bar right there. Talk about a medieval bar. There's 2 bar stools and a push bar. This is a bar you can push around.
From the Elizabethan expression, paint the town red. And is named after one of my husband's ancestors, the Marquis of Granby, who was the first person to set up pensions for soldiers. So lots of pubs are named after him.
It's probably a good idea back in like 18 or like 1600 to have a pension for a soldier. So his family and his wife don't like have nothing when he dies. So that's an honorable deed.
The bar itself was the original train that they used to use to bring the food up from the stable block to the medieval kitchens. And I looked at it and I thought, what a perfect bar.
Yeah. Simple enough. Very simple bar.
The Great Chamber is my dream summer sitting room because the light, there's this enormous, spectacular window at the end. I'm playing with it at the moment, and quite controversially, I put in a Zara Hadid sofa.
Yeah. This is not medieval. A medieval peasant would look at this and say, what the hell is that? My lord, there's a strange shape in the dining quarters. Good heavens, it's green, it's lime green, and it looks like a leaf. A huge leaf that fell from the sky, my lord. I do not know if we can have this here.
And I'm just trying to see or work out whether putting such strikingly modern pieces of furniture into such an space, I love it. That's the way I would do it. I'm just wondering what the public will think. The end of my life, I really hope that my family, my husband and I, will look back on it and say, well, we're good custodians. We've been able to pass this house on in a better condition. We've done so much more. We've protected what was needed to do in our century. And
I think that's a good way of looking at it. They didn't destroy it. They've modernized a few rooms, but they kept most of the history, like, throughout the place.
Children can take it on forward from then.
Absolutely, guys. That's going to do it for today. What do you guys think? Would you want to stay here? Are you baffled that this place survived 900 years? I am. That's pretty incredible stuff, especially to keep a lot of the nice things in here. So that's going to do it. Let me know if you guys like it. Send this to your medieval friend, your medieval peasant friend who just needs a couple of coin to eat that day. Send it to him. He wants to watch it. And give me a like, give me a subscribe, leave me a comment, and I will see you in the next one.